Ooh, yeah, it's about time. It is about time. Yep, it is time to roll. What's up, everybody? This is Steve J from the From Out of Nowhere podcast. Yep, this is number 4, I think. Yep, number 4. Yeah, haven't been up to a whole lot. Just doing my thing, working and twerking and all that fun stuff. No, I've been pretty busy. Mainly work and just doing homework and stuff. Working on that real estate license and stuff. So that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be selling homes. Yeah, be looking at homes so I can eventually buy one of those. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah, just been hanging out. Been considering. I don't know when I'm ever going to do this. I've probably been saying this since I was a little kid. But I've been kind of thinking about maybe doing stand-up because that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Just, I mean, the main reason why I got into doing podcasts is because some of my favorite comedians, they have incredible, amazing podcasts that I listen to all the time. And recently I've been going to Vomity, which is here local, downtown Olympia, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Make sure to check out their page on Facebook. And if you want to go do some stand-up for 3 to 5 minutes, sign up. The sign-ups are noon on Tuesdays, so go check that out. But yeah, I went last night because we're taping this on Thursday night. But yeah, I went last night, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Just don't know if I'll ever have the balls to get up there and do it, but hey, it's cool to watch. A lot of really good talent down there. A lot of really good stuff. Yeah, just funny dudes, funny ladies, funny people. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. I don't know. Just trying to get that energy. It's so freaking cold outside. Jesus. Freaking freezing outside, just out of nowhere. Like, it was definitely like it's been cold, but like today is just fucking freezing. I had gloves, a big ass jacket on, and then, well, I mean, let's be real, my truck does not have heat in it, so that kind of sucks. I don't know what the issue is. I feel like it's like the heater core. We try to clean that out every so often, and that works for a little bit, but then it goes away, and then it's just freezing, and I have to have the air running anyway just to make sure that my windshield's not freezing over. Like, stupid. Sucks. But I don't know. Been thinking about doing some car shopping too. That's also very enticing, But it's like, I don't know, it might be better for gas. That would be better. Because, truck right now, and I'm driving across town to do my commuting. But I try to convince myself that it's more than that, because I know in my head, I'm just like, okay, so I'm going to spend $200 to $250 a month for the next X amount of years for heat. Like, I don't know if that's, because my truck's fine. It's not terrible. Although sometimes the gas gauge just decides to go up and down whenever it wants to, even though I could have a full tank of gas. It's just like always. So that's kind of alarming. But I don't know. Until that thing blows up, I'm not gonna get a new one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something else I've been up to is watching the Bond films from the very beginning. I've only seen the Daniel Craig ones, which are freaking pretty legit. I mean, Daniel Craig's awesome. Like, those movies are well done. Did fall asleep during Quantum of Solace when I saw that in the theaters, so, and I don't think I've watched it since. But I don't think that was due to the fact that the movie was like boring or anything. But I don't know. I have to revisit it. So went back, started with the first Bond film. I think, geez, I don't even know what we're on right now. There's Dr. No, some other one, Thunderball, just a bunch. We tried to watch the one where Sean Connery, he Like the one after he stopped, and it was just that random dude who was just like a model, and was like, yeah, sure, make him Bond. He could totally couldn't act worth a shit. And then like in that movie, they had Bond get married, and I don't know. I don't know how many of you guys have actually seen all the Bond films or whatever, but the ending is kind of weird, just kind of out of the blue. Also out of the blue because I wasn't super paying attention. So there's that. But it is, regardless, I think it's a really strange ending. Even though that movie's like 50 years old now, I don't want to really fucking spoil anything, but yeah, it's just fucking completely out of nowhere. Which is the name of the podcast. This is crazy. Did you plan this? No? There's no one over there. No, let's go back. Let's see let's check out the movies that I have Sheen. Charlie Sheen. Not in the movies. Let's see here. List of Bond films. Yeah, no, they're cool. Like, there's definitely, it made me respect the Austin Powers films, at least the first one, a lot, just because they crammed so much of like the first 6 films, and probably more. There's more to see, but they've crammed so much in those like originals that it's just like it's surprising that they could fit so much. So I've seen so far now, Dr. No, which was released in 1962, From Russia with Love, 63, Goldfinger, 64, that one was awesome, Thunderball, 65, You Only Live Twice, 67, that one was really good. I think it was Thunderball or You Only Live Twice. Either way, they both had like these really cool underwater scenes. I think it was Thunderball that had these like really, really cool underwater like fight scenes. Like it was pretty badass. But the guy who took over was in the movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and it was played by George Lazenby. Yeah, I don't know. They have a whole documentary on Hulu about him. I'm gonna probably check that out later. But yeah, I guess Sean Connery was just like, I'm fucking donezo after 67 doing 5 Bond films. But then he came back in 1971 with Diamonds Are Forever. That's next on the list. And then I guess then after that he was like, okay, now I'm done. Like he had to get the last word in before Roger Moore came in, which was 73. And then he had to run all the way through fucking 83. And he did as many as Sean Connery, I think, right? 6. Yeah, he did 6. Holy shit! So the same year that Roger Moore did Octopussy in 1983, Sean Connery was like, nope, gotta do it again. Came back with Never Say Never Again. Clever. So yeah, what's that? Roger Moore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, they're tied for 7. My math is right, which is almost never accurate. So, and I'm not gonna go back and count. It's right in front of me. I'm not gonna do it. You're not gonna make me. You can't make me do what I don't want to do. Okay. Fuck. The pressure. Yeah. Timothy Dalton. He did 2. 87, 89, and then of course Pierce Brosnan, which it's crazy. Growing up, Nintendo 64 GoldenEye was like the game, and it still is. Like you look back and you think of like the top 5 video games on Nintendo 64. It's got to be within the top 5. It has to be. It was like that first-person shooter was a big deal. So, but yeah, no, I haven't seen any of those. I watched some of the trailers last night with the wife, and they look ridiculous in the best way. Like, gosh, like, because I'm about that 90s action. And Billy, if you're watching, piece of shit, if you're watching, it's this guy, Billy, my friend Billy, got me super into like that early early 90s action, because like 80s action is great, but like there is a period of like early 90s action that was just fantastic. Could I name a few? Not off the top of my head. I'm tired. Had a long day, but they're out there and they're great. But no, I mean, and now I want to go back and, definitely can't wait to catch up to the Pierce Brosnan era and just check that out. But looks pretty exciting. Looks pretty cool. Yeah. So just enjoying this cold ass weather, all up in my very orange, hoodie. I miss Halloween. That was such a depressing time to take down all those decorations. It was just like, because I mean, one, didn't want to do it because we put up a lot, not just indoors but outside too. We had a friggin' Jason mannequin outside with Freddy's head in a bowl, and then all these lights and stuff, but was not ready for that. And then all the fucking cobwebs and shit. That was a fucking okay. If I'm being honest, it only took me 45 minutes, but it's like, you know what? Like, no, like just leave it up. There should be a second Halloween. We should be allowed to do a second Halloween. If you could have Christmas in July, you should be able to go back. What would it be? So if Christmas and July are, so it'd be like May, you have like a like a mid-year Halloween. I'm down. Let's do it. Let's do it right here. Let's make it May. We have like a mid-year Halloween. I'm all for it. Let's get spooky. I love getting spooky. So much fun. So exciting. It's so super exciting. I've heard great things about the new Red Dead Redemption game, which I'll probably never have time to play because it's supposed to be like 60 hours long. Like, I don't know. I just can't do like the super long games. Like my style is like Arkham Asylum, any of the Batman games. You can blaze through them. Great stories. Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy. I mean, just awesome, voice talent on there. And but just that, it just looks. And right now, like I feel like Red Dead Redemption would be totally, because I'm all in the Western thing now and stuff, and I think it's really cool. But I just don't know, man. 60 hours, shit. I played through the what was it? I played through Grand Theft Auto 5, no problem. I don't think I did all the side stuff, but that story was great. The story was fantastic. But just 60 hours of fucking gameplay. I mean, that's total kid territory. I mean, once you're out of school, you're like, fuck everything. I'm going to lock myself in my room and just fucking play all day. They'd probably beat that game. It's a 60-hour game. Yeah, they'll do it in 12. Fuck it. I mean, the energy that kids have is just insane. Oh, man. I was just watching this video that's kind of going viral of this guy who he's like this big streamer on like Twitch or something, and he does the Fortnite, and he does the Fortnite. God, I'm fucking old. No, I play Fortnite too, so whatever, dude. I'll fucking play Fortnite, man. But no, he's just like whenever somebody subscribes or something, and then like, God, I'm totally telephoning this because I just read it and heard it somewhere. But like, basically the idea is like he was streaming, and then every once in a while, as like a, kind of like a thank you, he'll join your game and play in like a group with you for like a match or so. And he just selects a name, and it's with this kid. This guy's like the streamer. He's like 30 years old, and the kid, he's like a kid. He's 9 years old. And so they're just playing, having a good time. But then I guess somehow the mom gets wind of it, and she totally like he the kid's like, yeah, I think my mom wants to speak to you. What? Like right now? Yeah, like 1 second. And then she puts on the headset, I guess, and she's just like, so you like playing video games with kids? And he's like, oh no, I just I'm a streamer, and I do this. And then he was watching my feed, so and like that was the weird part, is that how he like at first was totally cool, like, oh, your mom wants to talk to me, and then immediately when she's like, oh, so you like to play with some fucking kids, huh? And then he just totally like, and then like freaks out kind of. And then she's like, oh, no, my son's excited to play with you, but like, how often do you enter these these rooms with these boys to play? Because I mean, like, they're like little lobby rooms. And the way she said, like, how often do you, I can't remember the wordage, but she's like, how often do you play with little kids? And it's just like, he was just totally like, geez, I swear I didn't do it. It's like, okay, one, this happens every day. Like, hell, even when I was playing and my friends weren't like available to play, I would actually just go into like a lobby and then just wait to pair up with other people. 9 times out of 10, it's Fortnite. It's, you're going to get paired up with a kid. If I'm being honest, like, if I'm in a mood, I'll sit there and, talk shit to the kids because, that's mature and fun. But if I'm really just like, no, I just want to fucking play a game, I'll just mute everybody. But I mean, it happens all the time. But because this guy's like a, big streamer, and obviously got out there, but man, that had to have been like, I feel bad for the guy, but then at the same time, if you were the mom, you'd be like, yeah, what the fuck are you doing playing with my kid? You're like 30? Like, I'm 30. Like, my kid's 9. What are you doing? I don't know. Check it out though. Fuck, I want to see if I can find it. I don't think I can. I can't remember what. Fuck it. It's, what? Times, that's in the past now. It's in the past. Look it up. Google it. Streamer gets called out by mom. Look it up. Look it up. I did, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I did play a little bit of that Spider-Man game. God, it's so good. It's so good. Love it. The stories were really great. I loved how, like, it seems like they took they actually took Peter Parker and made him, it seems to me like they made him look like all of like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, and just kind of like, made like the best version of it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I didn't make it super far because, again, like, I got so far, but then homework took over and now I'm doing this, and like, yeah, just busy. But yeah, fun game. I wish I could just find the time. It's just tough because my wife, she works all the time overnight, so I barely get to see her. And then when I do, it's like, oh, I want to spend all the time in the world with you. And that's just the way it is. That's life, people. I ain't got times for games. But when I have a kid, though, I'm going to use that excuse all fucking day. Like, no, I had to spend quality time with the kid. I had to spend quality time with the kid. I'm sorry. I had to play Spider-Man for 12 hours. I'm so sorry I had to do that. Like, off my back, please. Let me see. I did pull up a few news bits for yo asses. I haven't read too much in it. I just saw a headline. I'm just like, yeah, dude, that's fucking, those are words. Okay. This is probably the biggest piece of news just because it feels like out of nowhere. Headline says there's going to be a Breaking Bad movie and stuff. So, and it looks like it's going to, Slash Film reports it will focus on Jesse Pinkman, the troubled meth whiz played by Aaron Paul. Burp. And Breaking Bad debuted 10 years ago. Okay, cool. That's a lot of information. Sweet. That's really, really cool. That's so much info right there. But yeah, no, I mean, just the idea of another Breaking Bad movie with it focused on Jesse Pinkman is pretty crazy. Am I excited? Sure. Why not? I mean, like, I don't know. That article said literally nothing. It just basically said, like, this site reported, like, it was going to follow Jesse Pinkman, but really nothing else. And then it just moves on to other shit. But I don't know. Just got to be careful with that kind of shit, because I feel like one of the things that was really cool about Breaking Bad is they, by no means, I mean, from my point of view, did they have to end that early. They did not have to end that show. I mean, it didn't even necessarily feel like early because they got 5 seasons out of it, but by no means did they have to just go, okay, we're gonna introduce an end. We're just gonna make this, end and that'll be all. Because I feel like by the time the last couple seasons, like seasons 4 and 5, were getting bigger and bigger and more viewers, they absolutely did not have to cut that short. And yeah, they wanted to end on a high note, and they totally did. But I don't know. Just now that it's been what, 4 or 5 years now since it. I can't believe it's been that long. Like, yeah, about 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's like what. Of course, there's more story that you could tell. It's just that, well, is it going to be as exciting? Because now that Walter's gone, and like, I don't know. It just all depends. I would need more information, but it could be interesting. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to play it out. But I mean, let's see. Even if it was like a really great story, it's like, but is there really anything else that needs to be said? Because I love the idea that, like, I mean, I don't love it, but I mean, like, just Jesse, how he was left, at the end of it all, and how he's just completely, I mean, so much happened to him in the last, couple seasons over the entire series, like how much he changed, especially, I mean, the ending was just so impactful, and it was just kind of like, what does that guy do? And then it was just kind of left up to you to make up, like, what you think he's going to be doing for the rest of his life, or who knows. But again, we'll see. Let's see this other piece of information here. What did I eat about the book down? Playing music with my mouth do. Okay. Disney reveals the name of its Netflix competitor and outlines Hulu plans. Okay. Disney said Thursday its upcoming Netflix rival will be called Disney Plus. Yep. Will be called Disney Plus and will launch in late 2019. See, I've been noticing that, like, a lot on, like, Netflix, a lot of Disney owned products have been just kind of like, once they fall off, they don't come back. So we'll see. I don't know. It's becoming cable all over again. I mean, it's just, I mean, at first it was really cool because it was like one or two. Like, I mean, in the beginning for me, it was Netflix and Hulu. It was like cool, and you get all these things, but then so many other, naturally, and smart on their part, especially if you're like a really good company, go, well, we can do that. We're going to take back our stuff, and then we're going to make our own platform. Cool, but like, I really want to see the new Star Trek Discovery. Looks great. I've heard nothing but amazing things, but I don't want to get a whole nother service just to watch the one show. And I know that they're going to be adding content and whatnot, but that's really all I give a shit about. That's all I'm really going to watch that for. And I know you can get like the trial, and I could probably easily like smash through all the all the Star Trek episodes, within like the 7-day trial or whatever. But, there's going to be more seasons, and I don't know. We'll see. But it's just becoming cable all over again. It's just going to be like dozens and dozens of different streaming services, and it's weird how it's like coming back on itself. So I don't know. I really feel like at this point, though, with how much stuff that we watch on demand, there's really almost no need for cable, because there's like a select few things that I know Jillian likes to watch, or I like to watch, that is, still on TV. But I mean that plays like live and stuff like that, but it'll be available the next day, and it's not anything that I feel like I need to watch that moment, because guess what? On demand. So in Hulu, a lot of that stuff that I'm referring to gets put on Hulu like the next day anyway, so why even bother? I don't know. Too many goddamn streaming services. It's ridiculous. It's a motherfucking ridiculous. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Let's see. Andy Bean and Derek Mears. Derek Mears was the guy who played Jason in Friday the 13th remake in 2009. Good guy. Set to play Alec Holland and Swamp Things in DC in the DC series. That's fucking cool. Because I personally have been advocating for Derek Mears to play the Toxic Avenger whenever the fuck they do that remake, because he would just be amazing. And he's a funny dude. Like, you need to watch the Friday the 13th documentary. Oh my God. What is it called? Fuck. I always refer to it as the Friday the 13th documentary. Anywho, oh my God, that's going to bother me. Fucking right. God, I just can't. It always gets the best of me. It's always going to get the best of me. What is that Friday the 13th documentary called? Friday the 13th documentary. That's Crystal Lake Memories. I did it with the help of the internet. Yeah, Crystal Lake Memories, amazing, because by the time it gets to the remake, he is just such a big fucking nerd, and it makes it that much better when you know somebody either enjoys an original character that they've played, or is taking or helming a character that is immortalized and just legendary, and they love it, and you can tell that they're very humble about it. They don't feel like, yeah, this is my shit now. Like, no, he's total fanboy service to that, and he really speaks to what I feel like most people would feel like that are fans of Jason, that like exactly what they would feel like, just completely giddy and just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. But definitely check that out. It's very, very good. It's called Crystal Lake Memories. But yeah, he's gonna be the new Swamp Thing, so that's pretty badass. Why am I opening up shit that I don't want to open up? Why? We're going to go back. Going to go down here. DC Universe's upcoming Swamp Thing TV series has been adding cast members left and right. And latest casting news concerns the big green guy himself. Things I just fucking said. Cool. The series follows Abby, a crane, as she investigates what seems to be a deadly swamp-borne virus in a small town, Louisiana, but soon discovers that the swamp holds mystical and terrifying secrets. When unexplainable and chilling horrors emerge from the murky marsh, no one is safe. Yep, sounds like Swamp Thing, so that's cool. And you know what? This is going to be on DC's streaming service, where they do. They've done Titans, which I didn't really hear much after the first trailer for Titans came out, and so many people were ragging on the fact that Robin was like, "Fuck Batman, fuck it," It's just like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, he dropped an F-bomb. Who gives a shit? But yeah, people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. They're like, oh, like they've never heard a fucking curse word before. But I just looked it up just to see, like, okay, well, am I gonna give a shit about this? Like, just based on like the reviews of Titans. Titans has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, so suck it. Think that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna have to check that shit out. Another fucking streaming service. Jesus Christ. But to be fair, they have everything DC, like animated everything, and I'm pretty sure they have every DC movie, live action that they've put out. So also very cool. Yeah, just need to check that shit out. And I hope that Swamp Thing's out pretty soon, because I loved watching the original, Swamp Thing movies. I just bought the second one. God, that's such a fucking ridiculous, very 80s, cheesy, like, action. I saw that the TV show too was very dark. They kind of heavily dialed back on that camp, but really good stuff. Really, really good. I think actually Amazon has all the episodes of the original Swamp Thing on there. Another shit I'm gonna have to check out, unless I have to buy the shit. Then they can also suck it. What else do we got? What else do we got? Clicked on another thing I didn't want. What else do we got? Jeremy Irons reportedly playing Ozymandias in HBO's Watchmen series. So, I don't know about this series because it's being helmed by Damon Lindelof. Being helmed by Damon Lindelof. Damon. Yeah. What is this guy? So, just as a reference to what he's done, Damon Lindelof. Let's give you an idea what this chit has been up to. Oh no. That's already not looking so hot. Barf Town. A Barf Town. Woo! I don't know. Or don't list his projects on Wikipedia. Why would you do that ever? Okay, he did Lost. That's the big thing that stood out, which, man, that's a fucking story. So, I would visit my dad every time that I got off work at like 2 a.m. Working at the grocery store. I would drive down to my parents' house, and my dad would just be getting up so he can go to work at like 6 a.m., like way out of town. And we would just bullshit. And for a while there, I just felt like, out of the blue, he would be playing this TV show and then like, half-assed, listening to me like a good dad does. He's just like, yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it's crazy. Which is where, Jillian, if you're watching, this is where I get this shit from. That's crazy. My dad, okay, because he would do it to me. So it's being passed on to you. I'm sorry. Just, it's in the family. So, no, he would sit there and watch, and eventually I would start being like, what the fuck are you watching? And he was only like in the middle of season 2 of Lost. And he's like, yeah, I just ordered this bootleg set of all the Lost TV shows, all the episodes. So here you go. And I was just fucking like deep into it. And then I can't remember at what point it was, but I was just like, oh, this show's bullshit. I mean, basically it was just, hey, we're going to answer barely these questions, and then more questions arose. So it was like, cool. All right. So this is never ending and stressful, and my OCD is going off the fucking chart. And after a while, I feel like they just really gave up on because the first two seasons are pretty, from what I recall, this has been like 10 years. They were really good, but after a while, it's just like, it felt very repetitive in the sense that, like, again, with more like, hey, we'll answer a couple questions, but we're going to ask a lot more. So it's just like, every season there was just a pattern, and you could see it, and it was just like, oh, this is all bullshit. But I still stuck it out to the very end, and I'm just like, fuck all this. Fuck it all. And then I asked my dad, I was like, did you see that bullshit last season? He goes, no, I won't watch it. Because he had convinced himself that up to a point, he's like, you know what? Even though I know what this is, I've seen, kind of the pattern and everything. I've heard too many negative things that I'd want to ruin what I've built up in my own head. And I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty smart. Ballsy. I could never do it. I'm a completist. So it's like, if I start something, I have to finish it, or else I just feel completely guilty. But no, I mean, in hindsight, if I could, I'd go back and just honestly, I'd probably stop watching after like season 3, season 4, because like those were still pretty all right, seasons. But man, if I knew what I knew now. Anyway, this guy, the guy who's like one of the writers, he is. See, his notable stuff has been, he produced Crossing Jordan. He was the co-creator of Lost, actually, and wrote for Nash Bridges, Who Gives a Fuck. He also wrote the science fiction film, or adapted Cowboys and Aliens, also Who Gives a Fuck. Prometheus, man, Star Trek Into Darkness, Tomorrowland. Just, I don't know. I can't say they're bad stuff. I can't say that. I'm one of the few people who did enjoy Prometheus. Star Trek Into Darkness was whatever. It was a movie for sure. It was a movie. People acted in it, and I think there was a director. I don't know. Tomorrowland didn't give a flying fuck about that shit, and then The Leftovers I don't even know. But yeah, so he is now the head of the new Watchmen series on HBO. So, and I just had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about that series, of how it's going to not super deviate. Like I guess the soul of the book is going to be, in this new adaptation, but it's definitely not going to be. I don't even think it's going to be set in the 80s. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be set in the 80s anymore, but it's definitely going to deviate and do its own thing, which is totally fine. And that's actually really cool. It's just, do it well. That's all. Just do it well. Because, like, in any comic book generation, because every, 5 to 10 years, depending on how well the story's doing, whether it's Marvel or DC, they'll go, okay, this is where we are. And we're going to hit this, the soft reset button, and then just kind of tweak a few things, change a few things up, and then go with that for the next 5 to 10 years. And then after that, they're going to go, okay, now we're going to do a little course correcting because maybe they didn't like that or like that, but we'll introduce this new element in the next generation, and so on. And I feel like both companies, Marvel and DC, have been consistently doing that since late 2000s, early, around 2011, I think was when everybody was really starting to pick up on it. So the point that I'm getting at is, I feel like if every so often, if comic books can freely, change stuff, and I'm sure there's still uproar about it and people freak out about all the changes of how Batman acts or what he does, if he kills people, if he doesn't kill people, and with Spider-Man, if Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy, if they're alive, if they're dead, how many times he revisits Uncle Ben, I don't know, I'm just saying that if they can make these slight to crazy changes to, all that, I mean, why not movies? Why can't movies, I just wish people would realize that, one, making a comic book movie is just a weird animal. It's just, and it's dicey already, because you can't take, especially some of these comic books that have been around since the fucking 30s, and they have decades and decades and decades of different stories and different origins, and it's which one do you pick, and which one do you convert, and there's just so many different choices. I just wish the movie-going audience was just a little bit more lenient, the comic book. I feel like the comic book community is pretty well, this is just what it is for this next run. We'll see how they do on the next one. And, people have different versions all the time. And I think this goes back to what I was saying in the last podcast with how, they're doing with the Joker, and now Matt Reeves. He's kind of, doing his own thing with Batman. It's not even anything to do with the DC, universe. The DC extended universe or whatever, the cinematic universe. It's his own thing, because he's just well, this isn't really quite the world and the thing that I saw it being, so I'm going to make my own little hole over here, and then they're doing their own thing over there with Joker. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that if things are still going south with, the DC cinematic universe, and then everybody over here is making their own thing, if it's successful, they're going to find their ways to connect, and then, make their, or who knows, we have no idea. But I just wish people were a little bit more, accepting to hey, that's a book for one, and this is a movie. They're almost, two different languages, and you have to convert that. And the proof is in the Watchmen movie in itself. I feel like that and 300 are pretty much, they feel like page for page, and book for book, and I think they're fantastic. I think they're great, but obviously that movie's not for everybody, and nor should any movie be for any particular general audience. But I still feel that in a way it's like, well, if your goal is to have a successful commercial movie, then yeah, you kind of have to adjust it and make it for everybody. Whereas, Watchmen was definitely, for, the comic book community. 300 was definitely for the comic book community. I just think it happened to be such a shorter story, 300, that it kind of spoke to, a wider audience. So I don't know. I actually just caught the unedited version of Watchmen with what was it? They had a little cartoon in the middle to represent the mini comic book that you'd read. It's like a comic book within a comic book. Anyway, they had that cut through, and it just was such great fan service. And I think because I read the Watchmen comic book so much before it came out, and so many times, and it's such a great book. And I think he did a really good job, and I liked everybody that they picked for it. But now we're on this new thing with Damon Lindelof. Damian Lawrence Lindelof, and we'll just see how that goes. I don't know. It could go either way. This could be like, oh my god, this guy's fucking amazing. He knows what he's doing. Or it's going to be... That's the poop sound. Okay, Shay. Let's see. More comic book movie shit. Or TV show shit, I should say. Marvel's Loki TV show confirmed with Tom Hiddleston to return. Interesting. Oh, weird. Unfortunately, there are very few details shared beyond this basic premise. Cool. All right. Which is what? While the major change afoot in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it moves towards Phase 4, those eager for more from certain existing characters are in luck. Disney and Marvel have confirmed plans to create a show centered around Loki. That's not really even a premise. That's just like, hey, guy that does that thing, he's over here again, so you're welcome. I mean, that's not a premise article. But, yeah. All right, more casting news and announcements without really any other announcements. Cool. I liked Loki. He's pretty cool. Pretty funny dude. I feel like he's one of the many characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that do really well with other characters and other actors and stuff. But on their own, it's just like, well, that's, I don't know, what we'll have to see. And like, obviously they're gonna, I would assume that they're gonna give him like his own regulars that he's gonna interact with. So those guys have to be really strong because I mean, it's just really hard when you have, the celebrity powerhouse that you have to work with within the Marvel, cinematic universe. It's how's that going to translate to, it's probably going to follow what these other, comic book TV shows are doing, which is like hour-long episodes. And it's like, how's that going to do? Because I feel like I enjoy The Flash. I think I've said that before, and didn't really care at all about Arrow and all that other stuff. The main problem I think is that they're trying to fill this hour-long, what feels like fucking brain-sucking void of time when it's just like these are better off like half hour, just quick, let's, because it's the action. Is because they don't do, I think it's for budgetary reasons, is like they don't do a whole bunch of action, so they fill it with like, character development or whatever. No, but they fill it with a lot of unnecessary character development. It's like I don't need to know that. I don't care. I don't need to know. It's just not. But that's me. I mean, obviously the rest of the world seems to be having a really good time with those TV shows, so whatever. But I mean, for me, it's like bring back just a half hour. I feel like most of the TV shows aren't justifying the hour-long episodes with because they're not even showing that much action in the first place. So, who gives a shit? Why not? Figure it out. Let me go back here. I think that was it. Oh my god! I think that was it. That's crazy. So let me see how much time we have here. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Let me see here. So I'm going to look back in this past week for released on this day. Let's see. So on the 2nd of November, in 1990 was Jacob's Ladder. On the 3rd, and this is for 1989, it was Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund. Still haven't seen that movie, but I guess it's a fan favorite. Stepfather 2, and then we have They Live, 1988 for November 4th, and Double Dragon for 1994, hell yeah, and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro. Have not seen that. I don't know. When I was young, and I was like, and I really knew about Robert De Niro, and like I was like at the height of like me just like, you know, going through every one of his films and watching them, which I haven't seen all of them obviously, but then I found out about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I was just like, are you kidding me? I just couldn't picture it. And it's still, I feel like that's why I've just kind of like put it off, and I'm just like, nah, I don't know. But again, I've heard it's really good, and it's got Kenneth Branagh in it, so it's got to be good. But I want to go back to Double Dragon. That movie, oh my God, Robert Patrick he is everything in that movie. He is like the villain. He's got a blonde high top, and he wears this trench coat with like shoulders way too fucking big. Shoulders are that's how you know you're dealing with a villain. He's got a high top fade, and he's got way too big of shoulders. It's just, oh my God. Gotta watch it. Next, we have November 5th, Piranha 2 from 1982. Bronson, Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, 1987. It's still the same day, November 5th. 1987, we have Less Than Zero and Steel Dawn. So again, Less Than Zero had Robert Downey Jr. and some other 80s people that you might recognize, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how far back your 80s knowledge goes. So I could say their name, but Andrew McCarthy, he's been in some 80s shit. Like a lot of those teen comedies. Patrick Swayze in Steel Dawn, again, 1987. We have 1993's RoboCop 3. Fucking jetpacks, man. All day jetpacks. I want my RoboCops and add a jetpack, please. It's the only combo I want to know. And then also the fact that he finally, after 2 sequels, he was like, I'm a robot, so maybe I can upgrade my bits and pieces. And then he would like just rip off his arm and put it like a machine gun and just blow people away. Like, yes, finally, thank you. And then for some reason that was the last one until they made that fucking bullshit remake. American Movie, 1999. Funny fucking documentary. Really, really cool. Actually super, like, makes you want to go out there and make a movie. And it's just really good. Check it out, American Movie. That's all I'll say about that. Watch it. Let's see here. November 6th, Time Bandits, 1981. We have Subway with Christopher Lambert. Oh, my God. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. I've never seen it. The poster is very striking. Subway, 1985. Yeah, just really very 80s. He looks like fucking Sting. I don't know. That just set it off, 1996. I haven't seen that movie in it's been about 20 years since I've seen it, because I used to watch it all the time as a kid. Fucking amazing. And then The Waterboy, 1998. Oh, yeah. And then we got, on November 7th, we have Starship Troopers. Fucking, man. Well, actually, no. Forget what I was going to say. No, just forget it, okay? Just drop it, all right? It doesn't matter. It's not important, okay? I was going to say it. Not important anymore. But anyway, what I was going to say is that Starship Troopers, fucking amazing movie. Paul Verhoeven knows how to make a fucking movie, and that shit is hilarious. It's fun. It's just fucking, it's fun. It's fun, dude. Transylvania 65000. It's got a lot of cool people in it. Jeff Goldblum. It's got Gina Davis. That's all the cool people I need for this fucking movie. Just I don't know, a bunch of nobodies that you wouldn't really, you'd recognize them if you saw them, but like the names don't. I don't think they would really super ring a bell. But that's another movie I haven't seen that looks fucking amazing, and I need to watch it. And yeah, Ransom, 1996. Mel Gibson. Fucking A, dude. Yeah, that's just been this last week. Fucking Narnar, dude. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just kind of a meh kind of show here. I don't know. It's how it's going to be sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be way up here. Sometimes it's going to be way down here. Or it's going to be like where we are right here. So right here in the middle. Because I just went through all the news in the world, I felt like. And then I was able to go through a full week of all the movies that I posted. So kind of a big deal. I may call this one short. I may call it short. I don't know. So yeah. Again, guys, we did it again. Episode 4. Pretty legit. It's too legit. It's actually too legit to quit. But we are gonna quit. I'll probably end up doing another podcast a little bit earlier next week because I got, late start on this one and it's pretty late. I just got done doing homework and I'm super fucking tired, dude. And so, I'll probably do one probably a little bit earlier next week so we can get more of like a regular schedule. I want to try to get one filmed like consistently on like a Wednesday or Thursday night and then, post it hopefully the very next day. But yeah, man. Definitely, again, guys, check me out on Instagram. It's the Steve HS, or you can just look up my name, Steve J. And I just post a bunch of bullshit where movies were released between 1980 and 1999. Some of my favorite movies, or movies that I wish I would have seen, or just movies that I feel like generally people, the public, enjoy it or like to watch. So check that out. And I hope that I can maybe eventually get some of my friends on here because I want to talk all the bullshit in the world about nothing. So because me, how I like to spill the beans about a whole lot of nothing. So anywho, guys, this has been From Out of Nowhere podcast. I'm signing off. Peace out. Bye.